we are going to be doing a ban list prediction with Mr. J Strategy Plays and our special guest, Phantom Blur. So we're going to be going over cards that we believe should be put on the restriction/ban list and explain why we believe those cards should be placed on those lists. Who wanted to kick things off?
I think Mr. J should probably start things off, considering it was very much his idea to kind of get the ball rolling.
All right. All right, cool. I was waiting for the
should be restricted.
I think my first pick for the restriction list is of course, BT11 Mirage Galgamon. So I did write down why, though, because people just, there's a lot of hate for Mirage, but I think when it came out in BT11, it wasn't really overbearing. It wasn't an overbearing card in the format. I think that's when like Blackboard Grey X came out at the same time in like Dimensional Phase. But as the Digimon TCG progressed, I feel like most blue cards either like directly or indirectly supported Mirage, and like the engine I see the most abusing Mirage right now is the Galaxy deck, Galaxy Mirage, which is just crazy. But mainly, I think the biggest problem with Mirage is the all turns effect, which it just punishes your opponent for simply playing the game, and just the memory gain is insane. I think they could have balanced the card. Maybe they can still like errata it if it just said gain 1 memory for every 6 cards in your hand instead of every 4 cards. I think that would be a little bit more balanced, but I don't see a world where Mirage is not hit on the next ban list.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. This is probably like at the top of my list in terms of criminals who dodge punishment on that last list. Boy, was everybody and their mama and them hot when they had looked at that list and they was like, where's Mirage? And why is he not on this list? So yeah, I definitely agree.
I had to chill out for a couple moments where I felt like, all right, maybe blue could, with all the hits blue keeps getting, I feel like, you know what, maybe it won't do anything. But like every single format, it just won't like die.
It won't stop.
From some form or another, I'm like, all right, at this point, it's like it's the deck where it's like it has a somewhat of a line with a bunch of extra blue engines, and it's like, as long as you end up on Mirage, I'm like, it's pretty, you're kind of balling.
Yeah. All right, Phantom, what card you got?
So, give me a few seconds. I still have a list going on. Okay. I think because he took was Mirage at first, and he kind of took that.
Oh, all right. So for me,
we can talk about Mirage a little bit more if like you had something else to say.
Well, no, I think I think anything's gonna hit because like I think the only biggest menace I think Mirage has is like with Galaxy, and I'm just kind of waiting. If like, okay, as Galaxy, Bandai has just kind of driven itself into a hole with that archetype. Where I think every other archetype, everything that touches, like, oh, we found a loop. All right, let's get rid of it. We found another one. Hit it again. Oh no, another issue. I'm like, all right. So it's like you're either gonna kill the deck or like do something, because like y'all kind of written yourself into like a hole.
So you thinking a choice restriction on the Galaxy engine?
Possibly, just because I think like it's constantly being shown to be a problem. Even with Mirage, even beforehand, where I feel like we keep finding more and more nasty strategies that are just not working or like healthy.
Yeah.
Would this be the first of its kind where they said this cannot be used outside of anything not related to Galaxy, Nightclaw, or what's it called, that engine?
Lightfang, Nightclaw.
Yeah. If they did something like that, that'd be absolutely wild. Like they did a choice restriction and said nothing outside of their archetype can use their engine. Only their engine can use their engine. Nightcall, Lightfang, and Galaxy can use their engine. Nobody else can touch their engine. That would be wild. But I would give them I would give them praise if they did something like that, just because they're saying, look, we don't want to kill the deck for people who are dedicated to Grace Nova, right, and have played all the Dust and Dawn games and love them immensely and would love to use the engine by itself, but constantly keep ending up in this situation where their engine is at risk of being banned or restricted, and they're not even used in their actual deck. You know what I mean?
Does that mean we should talk about the Koh Sayo right now then? Because that was also on my list. I think the Koh Sayo either needs to go to 1 or it needs to be errata so that it only in archetype.
Ooh, okay. So choice restriction on Koh Sayo. Okay.
Or the errata so that it's just in archetype, Lightfang or Galaxy or Nightfang.
I definitely have to agree with you on this because this card opens up so many possibilities for an archetype that has absolutely nothing to do with most of their decks, and it allows them to digivolve into a variety of different 6s that has absolutely nothing to do with Galaxy, right? They can go into Dynamon, they can go into the Dragon Links and get floodgate effects. They can go into they just got so many other types of possibilities from red and blue that they can end up on, and it feels like they didn't earn it at all, just because the bottom line is so memory efficient, and these guys guarantee you 3, and that reduces the Digivolution cost on top of that. It's bro, that's way too good. That's way too good. Yeah, they gotta make this where it only affects Galaxy Evolution. So they released an errata of this card where they make it only Galaxy cards can get the plus off of this. I definitely agree with you on that one.
Yeah, man, because I mean the Galaxy Mirage is like mostly Mirage, but now they're including Leviamon X and they're including Dynamon too. It's getting ridiculous.
It goes back to what I'm saying. It's like anything involving this archetype. It's never. It's like that meme. It's like, why is whenever there's something wrong, it's always you guys. There's like the same 3 culprits.
Yeah. And it's so weird because in when we get 2.5, they're going to have a way to be able to promote a 4 and end up on a level 7 Quartzmon from off this Koh and Sayo. Yeah, they get like, how do you go from a 4 to a 7 and only pass them with 3 and then end up on Quartzmon? You know how much damage you're gonna be able to do before somebody gets a chance to be able to remove that thing? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the Galaxy engine is problematic for sure. But
all right,
for me, there's only one guy that I want in terms of a Digimon, and that's Ruin Mode. That man gotta go.
All right.
He gotta either go or he gotta get whacked or to 1 or something, bro. Cause like,
aren't people only playing like 1 or 2 copies?
I don't know, bro. Like, he gotta go. Like, look, for one, he literally floods your opponent from being able to play for potentially 1 to 2 turns. And then he also gives you recovery, pops a Digimon on your opponent's side of the board. So he's removal, he's checking your opponent from being able to promote and being able to play any Digimon that's under the 5K. And on top of that, he's also going to guarantee you the setup for the following turn. He does everything. There are no drawbacks to this guy at all. And every deck that can play it plays at least like 1 or 2 copies, like you said, right? Like you almost feel like you have to run this card in your deck because it's that damn good. And it just feels so unfair to play against sometimes because at that point in Digimon, you might be cooked, right? Like, I can't wait 1 or 2 turns and hope that my opponent don't have enough gas to be able to kill me. That's just not gonna happen.
So funny enough, I think normally I would just try to disagree with you because as I have a bias to Shine, but I do think it is right where I think it's like my situation with ShineGreymon being on the list. The Shine archetype is not the reason why this is even put on the list. It's just every other purple and yellow archetype is just ruining it for everyone. Where it's too generically splashable despite the 5 cost being there. And it's like, once it's on board, I'm like, all right, cool. You basically gain yourself like 1 turn of like cushion, essentially.
No, it's always guaranteed too, because they digivolve into it put the 5K blanket, then swing with it, put another 5K blanket. So you
Fair
don't
enough.
have a way to
I would say at
get
least
up
one
to
turn,
a
yeah.
5.
Correct. Fair enough. Yes. Thinking on it now, I think I'm okay with it being hit only because of what Bandai's kind of doing with certain cards. Where a good example is say Death X. They just re-released that card with a similar like effect, but the similar effect makes it more restrictive. Where it's like it's still a nuke that's dropped, but it's like it can kill itself if you're not like handled properly, where it's not just so generic. So what I'm thinking is like a good way we could fix this, where it's like it's their own form of like an errata, where it's like have it more tailored towards the shine line, where it's a lot less likely you're going to experience it, where it still is that much powerful, but you don't get to see it as often because it's not as splashable to other engines. Because I think that's why I'm seeing the real issue of why Ruin Mode's on the list. Because like every purple deck, every yellow deck that wants to stall is just running it. Because like I got like 1 or 2 card spaces. I'm like, you know what? Let me run it. Because you can just Digio over level 6 like it's nothing. And it's just like if you see it, you see it.
I definitely agree. And Angelo, you do definitely make a good point. They really do need to stop making so many broken generic cards. Like I do like the design philosophy that Bandai has moved towards, where they're locking stuff within archetype now. So you have to use your archetype to get access to these cards now, right? You can't just abuse it outside of their outside of these other decks and be like, oh damn, this is actually kind of broken with this stuff. Oh, let me put this and this together. And Bandai was like, oh shit, we didn't actually intend for you guys to use any of this stuff together in combination like that. Yeah, but what's stopping us from being able to do it? Nothing.
No, and I think it makes a good point because with Shine, it's just like it's kind of hurting a lot of creativity for decks where it's like, oh, why would I need to run anything else in the new stuff if ShineGreymon's Ruin Mode's still working tremendously well even after it's like what this card came out a year ago now already? More than
EX4?
Yeah, oh my god, yeah, we're like so far behind and it's still just one of the best cards.
Yeah, I think I was about to say Konami. I know what Bandai is doing. I mean, it's a secret rare, right? And even Medieval Gallant's a secret rare. So both of them are Floodgate cards. Death X was a secret rare. So they know what they're doing. These are money cards. Unfortunately, like Medieval Gallant is $90-ish for the alt art right now. But I honestly, man, like I feel you, Phantom, because I love Ruin Mode. Honestly, he's won me plenty of tournaments. And it's just a Floodgate minus 5K across the board for 2 whole turns. That's crazy. And I just bought an extra copy, so I don't want to say like yeah.
It just recently got reprinted, so it's like it used to be really finite amount. So like the price was like $100. Now it's like the 60, but like at the time of this recording. But like we're barely getting a reprint now, where I think it's a good chance.
I mean, you can purchase the reprint for like 40s, but
40.
But that's the point though that I'm trying to make here is that card that was, I guess, price locked before, right? So only people who had the little bit of extra money in their pockets could have picked up Shine. Now, if I had bought that reprint set and I pulled a Ruin Mode, guess what? That motherfucker's going directly into my deck. I don't even care, right? I'm going to put that bitch in there somehow, right? Like when I was running my my Valkyriemon deck, right? The Sukuyamon, I was still putting in the Ruin Modes into that deck because it ended on the level 6 that's yellow. So I just said, fuck it. Put Shine in there, minus the 5K, swing with him on the following turn, and then minus another 5K. I didn't care that I didn't get the partition because I killed it by my own effect. I just prevented you from being able to play the game, and I'm going to get way more setup the following turn than you are. So yeah, that guy is crazy. And then the fact that he also removes a body on board. So you guarantee if they have something already there, that motherfucker's dying. He's not going to be able to sit there. He's going to die.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I agree with you, Zuki. I maybe to 1. I don't think it'll happen, but I agree you should probably go to 1.
Not even to 1. No, it's a Death X scenario where it's like it's already being granted like a 1 to 2 of.
Yeah.
It's not gonna fix the problem. It's really not.
In my Sakuya or like Talmon loop, I'm running them at 3 copies. So.
But that's you though. I'm like most people are running it too because it's just a splashable card where it just fits. And it's like, like I said, someone called it like the Death X dilemma. When Death X first came out, most people were on 1 to 2 because it was an expensive card. Some people could afford it, some people can't. But if you got 2, it's like it's splashable, works with any archetype you have. That's even not even color requirement. Just if you're going against cards that have like late in the game, it is almost in any deck, right? You might as well just ban it. There's no reason to put it at 1 because it's like it's a draw to draw.
Yeah.
There's no reason to put it at 1.
I guess there is no deck using it at 4 copies.
Agree.
There's no deck using it at 4 copies right now, right? I think like
only the Talmon loop are the only
security.
ones that use it at 4.
I think security control also does it 4 too now.
Well, Medieval Gallant for sure has played at 4 copies in like security control now.
But yeah, no, it's like you gotta understand. It's like that's in the category of just like it's too splashable and why it's no reason to be spared at 1. It's to like get rid of it entirely.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
So I guess like pass it over to the next one. All right, I have 2 options. Do you want me to go for a card that's an archetype based or just a generic card in the game?
It's your call.
Your call.
I'm gonna go with the fun one. I want X antibody to get hit, and now this can go two. This can go 2 directions. This can go in 2 directions. This can go in 2 directions. Okay. Originally everyone wants the pointing at Proto-Form, right? Proto-Form is the biggest culprit of this of wanting a hit because of how much it speeds up with a lot of archetypes, especially with Gallant and a lot of other decks where it's like, oh, reduced by 1, and it's kind of impossible to get rid of because once it dies, it goes back to the top of security. I think it's promoting a really unhealthy state of the game. Not to mention, it's also it's a very hard card to get a hold of nowadays.
Yeah. Proto-Form is definitely on the scarcer side in terms of getting some copies of.
Yeah.
I just think ever since X Antibody's been introduced and become a meta type of strategy, the option card itself, perfectly valid because you have to swing with it, everything, right? Proto-Form does so much more and just as much as the regular X Antibody. Where I feel like with a lot of these X Antibody strategies, it kind of just creates like a turn 2 or OTK type strategies to like overhaul where you don't really let your opponent type play and you just get to reduce costs for like 1 or free or of that nature. And because of the way it recovers, it's very hard to just permanently get rid of, you know? Because you can only run like say 2 copies and still plus like crazy.
I think it's interesting you mentioned Proto-Form because I mean I was thinking about Leviamon, that engine, the Dark Animal engine. And I honestly I would rather hit either Cerberus X or the what's the level 5 called? That's Cerberus, right? The level 4 is Dobermon.
Yeah.
No, I would hit one of those 2 instead of Proto-Form.
But you see, that's my point though. Is like you're hitting like the actual deck. I want to future proof it. That's why. Because we're not only that we have Gallant already coming into the mix. We're going to get more X antibody strategies. It's only going to be more of a problem and more prevalent for that card.
Yeah. But look how sexy that altar looks that Zuki put on the screen, man.
Oh man, yeah, that thing is kind of crazy. And they got my boy Garudamon over there on the side. They knew.
Oh yeah.
They knew.
I won't deny that. But it's just like you got to see it from that perspective of just like when X antibody gets introduced, it's like all right, cool, and given almost every Digimon has an X antibody gene or archetype of such, that it's just going to cause a lot of problems. Where all right, cool, that card is always going to be a contender now because of what Proto-Form can specifically do.
I can agree with you to a certain degree with this one. I would be fine with them putting this to 1 because having multiple copies of this is a bit problematic. There are a lot of times where you end up with 7 or 8 security sometimes just because this card is chilling in your security. In the fact that it guarantees you a line out of your hand, out of the stack that just died, does kind of feel pretty stacked. Not gonna lie, it does feel like you're cheating a little bit because you're like, damn, I'm missing the 5. If only I had a way to get back to it. Oh wait, cool. 3, 4, 5, pass. Following turn, push up, do it all over again. What's up, baby? I ain't lose shit. You know, like, like I can definitely see what you're saying with that one. It definitely does feel a little cheesy. And in certain decks that I do run a big number of Proto-Forms. So it's either between 2 to 3. I don't think I've ever run 4 copies of this in any deck. But I definitely run like.
I know some run 4 just because like it's their version of just having that option card as an extender. But yeah, no, 3 to 2 is usually the good solid ratio that people go for Proto-Form or X antibody. But I think 1 is definitely the answer because it's hard to search and it's like one you can deal enough with it and still kind of like face against it and still help your deck out.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with this hit. That that is an interesting take. That was definitely the hot take.
Oh yeah.
From you for sure.
No, you know what? Phantom just gave me an idea because I think once we put these videos together, I think when I edit it, I'll probably put which ones we agree with and which ones we don't. So I think two yay for Proto-Form restricted to 1, but I would say nay, right? Because I'm looking at the alt art right now. Like I want to purchase this bad boy. It's so beautiful.
But you're just falling victim to like the card design. Okay, like artwork is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of the most beautiful cards that I've seen in a while. Yeah. But like, that card just annoys me so much for a lot of decks that it's used for.
The recursion is crazy. That's what I know. That's what you're talking about. The recursion is crazy. But
I do want to just go back to your segment. If you want to go back to Leviamon.
Yeah.
If those certain cards you want to hit there.
That's a guy that I definitely got on my list as well. It's funny how we like pretty much are all in the same bubble with the cards that we think should get whacked.
It just breaks the game so much.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess Mr. Jay, let's start with you then. It's like, what exactly do you want to get hit from that archetype specifically if it's not the Cerberus?
Man, if I had to pick, honestly, I would say Dober.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Why?
I think
the X antibody or the regular?
I think if you hit Cerberus, that's too extreme because Cerberus is it's a pretty powerful card. But if you hit Cerberus, that's pretty much what starts your combo in the first place, right? Because you get Digivolve for free using the Proto-Form. Like if you have Goblimon in sources and you use Proto-Form to Digivolve into Dober X, you gain the memory off the discard and you gain the memory off the Proto-Form. Well, it's reduced, so Dober is a free Digivolve until level 4. And you draw 2 cards basically. Trash one, draw 1, and then Sunomon draw another card. So you fill up your trash, you draw 2 cards. So if I had to pick between Dober and Cerberus, like I said, I'd pick Dober because if I hit Cerberus, then I think it punishes Dark Animal Engine too much. But I think Dober is a fair hit.
So Dobermon or Dobermon X antibody?
Dobermon X, yeah.
Okay.
That one to 1 copy, that's what I would say.
I can see a universe where you can start like hitting the Dark Animal list. They definitely been powerful for quite some time. And they've been splashed in a lot of different decks that has absolutely nothing to do with Dark Animals.
NSO, Leviamon, Lord Nightmon, those are the 3 that come up to my head.
Well, actually, believe it or not, the Dark Animals are his line in his actual evolution.
Who's?
Leviamon.
Oh, really? What the hell?
Yeah. That was supposed to be his line. Yeah.
I thought it was Drago / Siako and what's the level 4 called? Gesomon?
Yeah. I think it's Dark Sea Animals as well. But yeah, no, he used Dark Animals or Dark Sea Animals.
Are you putting Levi in there because you want to go to 1?
Oh hell yeah! Fuck this guy.
Oh shit! Okay.
I'm not denying it. It's like that card has been so annoying. Whenever I see it come around, and I'm like, I gotta play Adjustment, and it gets like so much plus advantage.
So let me give you my reasoning why Leviamon should get whacked.
Oh,
so
okay.
Leviamon has been a card that has stood the test of time. at this point, he's been around since EX5, right? And he has consistently been topping events in Japan and in both NA, right? And even with the changes to his effect, where he doesn't get to double pop something with the with protection. So before it was I get the pop, and then if you try to protect yourself, I get to pop you again, and you can't save yourself. So then you die. But they changed that to if I pop something that has protection, you can protect yourself. And then when I try to delete it again, if you can protect yourself again, you're good, right? Where even with that change, that did nothing to this result for this guy. He is still consistently putting up numbers, still consistently putting all types of fists in people's ass. Like he does +1 security off himself. Then if you use the dark animal line, he can unsuspend himself and then do it again. And then what's worse is his X antibody form can digiball from the trash for free and get +3 checks and get to unsuspend again. Like, fucking just drill. Like, bro, he does everything. Mind you, he's clearing everything on your side of the board. Tamers, gone. Digimon, gone. Fucking anything that you had set up and was ready for you to use for that following turn is going to be gone. He's going to get rid of it. Because he always just magically have a low of shit on his side of the board than you do. You're like, yeah, if it's equal or less than, I could just pop it. So pop, 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 poppity pop. And I'm like, damn, bro, like, you know how hard it is to recover from that point? And you still got to deal with the fact that he gets to swing for 6 checks the turn that he does that. And you ain't got no security. You ain't got nothing on board. You ain't got no tamers in the back. You got maybe something in the raising area, if you're lucky, right? And that's it. That's all you got to work with. You're not going to be guaranteed any memory unless you got some options in the back. And that's it, right? You got to deal with it as best as you can. And one of the decks that was a good example of Bandai just hitting cards because it was just generically good for too long was Grand Kawagumon, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that was a generically good card for a long period of time. And so they just whacked it. Like, they literally put for the reason, yeah, this card has been around for too long. So we decided to hit it so we can diversify new card pools.
I guess that's, if a card's too good, it stunts a lot of creativity for future decks.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you not run this dude in a purple deck?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If I can pop everything on your side of the board and then use his X antibody form to do it again, why wouldn't I do that? You saw at Nats on the biggest table, this made it in the top 4. It was 4 different purple decks. Mm-hmm. I am so tired of fucking purple just dominating everything in Digimon right now. It's crazy.
It's like it's either the support does nothing for the deck, or it's meant to just be really broken and just kind of, I guess, like hand loop a lot. That's the best way I can describe, or loop your trash super easily. Yeah. So okay. So I have a question on. So obviously with Leviamon being an issue, how do you feel about its option cards instead of the actual Digimon instead?
Oh, the Crush and Blow. I mean, honestly, I kind of like that card.
Yeah, like
I think that's a really cool card because it forces you to have to play a different type of game. Like, all right, cool. I can bait out the option by forcing out a Digimon by card effect, and now he's going to have to trigger it because now that I've done that, I can continue up a line, or he's going to trigger it now and respond to it. It's like a mind game that both of you guys are playing with each other. And it's a very complex and intricate form of card play between you and your opponent. Because they choose when they trigger it, and you choose when to try to bait it out, if that makes sense.
Can I go back to the Dober? So did you guys agree with the Dober hit to 1 or no?
I
I
can
see
agree
it.
with that to be
I can
fair,
see it.
yeah.
Just because I think that archetype is just like it'll slow it down a bit to how to build up. So
Yeah. What about the Levi hit? Do we all agree on the?
yeah.
I don't know, man.
I think Zuki had he's preaching my soul right now, my hatred towards purple, and it's like that card just benefits so much for
You don't even have to run him in his own archetype. You don't even have to run him in his own archetype.
It brings up a lot of the core theme we're gonna obviously be mentioning a lot. It's like you can just play it by itself in anything, and it can still dominate, and that's what I think a lot of us have issues with.
I honestly, look, man, I don't like Leviamon because I got my ass whooped so many times by the fucking deck. But honestly, I don't think it needs to get hit. I would rather hit the Dark Animal engine, which sucks. But like I said, I think that one's abused more in a lot of more purple decks than Leviamon is. But recently, I know, 7th grade Demon Lords took it with NA America, right?
Yep.
It was just straight up Leviamon, like 3 Leviamon, 3 Levi X. I know it's a problem. Which probably gets me into my next discussion, or our next discussion, because I think about, like, I wouldn't hit Leviamon. I want to play devil's advocate, I guess, a little bit. But if we move to 7th grade Demon Lords, is Leviamon the problem in that deck, or is it something else? We're still talking about purple.
They use both versions, but they prefer the newer version because that one fits better in archetype, because when he gets removed off the field, you can put something into your source. So he works a little bit better in theme, but they do run one copy of him because he gets to remove a lot of tamers and other things.
I think the NA list ran 3, if I remember correctly. 3 Leviamon.
I mean, I wouldn't blame them. You can still play him for free. And like I said, he's always going to be a guaranteed pop.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to have more stuff than your opponent on your side of the board, right? You're always going to be either equal or less than. And you're always going to have a live target. Okay, pop your tie, pop your Greymon. Cool. You ain't got nothing on your board. All right, start your turn.
Hey, I just I'm looking at your stream. Angelo hates purple, bro. He's telling me everything to 1. He's like, everything purple, put it to 1. I was like, all right, dude, hold on.
I mean, I'm a purple hater too, but damn.
He's like, Sleepy Boy to 1, both Leviamons to 1. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. That's some hate. That's some bad.
That's some next level hate. Yeah.
Yeah, advanced levels of hate. But I personally think Leviamon should get whacked. They have another copy of the card. They can use that in his place. Yeah, he's not going to be as impactful, but that's the point, right? It's more in tune with being fair in the card game. It can make a big splash like it's supposed to, but it's not going to be the end-all be-all. I'm stomping people out. You can't play the game. Because, again, he has built-in security hit.
Yeah.
So he's always guaranteed at least 2 hits. And then you also got his X form that's doing 3 points of damage.
Yeah. In my time versus playing Leviamon against it, like I said, because one of my best friends plays a deck like nonstop. It was never Leviamon that got me angry. It was him going to Leviamon for 1 memory that pissed me off. Because him going from like Dober, Proto-Form, Cerberus, playing a Digimon out, and then using the Cerberus to swing on suspend for about 4 to 5 checks, that would piss me off. Yeah. But it was never actually just Leviamon, It was definitely him going up into his mega for like 2 cost. That's what got me mad.
Okay. So for this one, we gave 2 yays and 1 nay.
2 yays, 1 nay.
Okay. I have a fun card I want to bring up, and more or less is like I want to start going in the theme of like why we kind of hate purple. More or less, like, let's be honest, a lot of these cards I'm gonna mention, like, the main corporate is purple, and also it's like this card was brought up to me by a friend of mine, because I realized it's also supported in a lot of purple decks as well for building up trash. Analog Youth.
Yeah. Ooh. That's not the card I thought you were gonna say for
yeah, no, I can't take credit for this. This is a shout out to Hades. He recommended it to me for a little bit, and I think it's a very smart take because I feel like it indirectly helps a lot of decks. But if we're talking the purple, it builds up a lot of trash and resources and especially because a lot of decks rely on for purple rely on destruction effects.
Yeah.
It boosts like crazy. And let's be honest, it could also go into the category of like this card has been out for so long that a lot of people are still running it. And Bandai has banned cards for that exact reasoning, that maybe it's time to maybe hit it to 1 because you can't search it, where it's like people are playing it like 3 to 4 copies for some decks because they just want to just trash it.
I will say, I don't see a world where this guy get whacked. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, that's fair. That's perfectly fine. Like I think
I don't see a world where he gets whacked.
I brought that into the perspective because I felt like it's different, and I wanted to just sauce up a bunch of different lists. Or I feel like my friend brought it up to me. And it's like, it's not a too terrible of a call to where it's like Bandai's done weird, has hit weirder stuff, but it's just like if it gets too out of hand, I feel like it could get hit.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like for a long time, people have felt like Analog Youth should have got whacked, but with the announcement of the new reprint that they got coming out for the guy, I don't see Bandai doing that.
Same.
Right? Anything? Remember Ukomon? Because like they still hit that card.
No, they came out with the new reprints of the higher rarity of the card first, so you got a chance to play full high rarity Ukomon before he got whacked, bro.
Fair, but that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't even think it's good enough to be banned. I think it's good enough to be hit to 1.
I know I don't disagree with you, but I don't see them limiting the power of that card just yet, only because they got a new reprint of it coming out. So that's the only reason why I don't agree with you on that one. Is because from a business standpoint, right, a card becomes extremely less desirable if it's already restricted. Because now you're going to be like, oh, well, I don't really want to play it, right? And if you look on Japan, I don't know if you guys been keeping up with any of the Japan meta, but red purple Imperial is dominating. Like at least 10 of the last tournaments that they reported were all red purple Imperial, and they run 4 copies. Ooh. So I definitely know where you're coming from. The guy definitely should get hit. I just don't think they're going to do it.
Fair enough. If we're going for that perspective, I think you make a very good point. But I still think, business stuff aside, it's a problematic card that's still causing the issue of, hey, purple strategies are still kind of dominating, and this is just one of the many cards that kind of encouraging that play style.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
How do you feel about that, Mr. J?
Honestly, man, I think you bring up a good point because it's just purple decks abusing it, but the only purple deck I see it being abused right now is Soloogarmon, and I would say it's pretty unfair, but when I thought, because Soloogarmon is on my list for cards to hit, but it was an Analog Youth that I was going to hit off Fenrir.
I think I just feel like sometimes some generic toolboxes have been around for too long, and it doesn't leave a lot of room for improvements, especially when the game tries to introduce newer types of tools. And I think, like I said, for like what Zuki has mentioned, in other decks, especially in the Japan scene, like more purple strategies are still abusing this card to its full extent. And I feel like it's either now or later where maybe this has to be mentioned in some sort of discussion. Because sometimes it's not always the archetype's fault. Sometimes it's just how good the support matches with the archetype.
Yep.
I think I'm looking at the stream right now. Like I see Zuki's stream. I see the Koh Sayo and I see Analog Youth. And when I think about that, I was like, yeah, bro, Koh Sayo 100%. But if I see Analog Youth, I'm like, not yet. Maybe in the future, like it could get hit, you know. But right now, I'm like, no, I don't think it deserves a hit right now.
I have my eye on. I'm gonna give my shot on my friend for that one, but it's like, I got my eye on that card.
I will definitely say, future hit list, definitely.
Yeah.
Currently, nah. You gotta give him his time in the light. Like, he has always been meta relevant throughout his entirety of existing, but he has never been the end all be all. Like when you trace back to why you lost, it was because of this card, right? It's a great combo extender, and it allows you to steal turns But outside of those two niche situations, the perfect abusers typically are purple strategies. And the reason why is because they care more about their trash than any other archetype, right? Because on paper, he's supposed to be used in every deck because he can search you the cards that you need and you grab that card, but you sacrifice 2 cards off the top of your deck and put it in your trash. But if you don't care about stuff being in your trash, like my bird deck or a purple deck, well, now he's a perfect extender. Because there's times where I can't go for certain plays in my bird deck because I don't have anything in trash yet. And then with purple strategies, they can't do anything unless they have stuff in their trash already. So he is a great enabler of certain decks for sure, but he hasn't been when you trace back to why you lost, he was the reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, no, I guess we kind of said everything we want to say for that card, but it's like that's my little hot take I want to mention with purple. I guess another one. It's more of a question because I did see this card pop up as well. Whenever we talk about a lot of hit cards, a lot of us either hits either tamers, options, and maybe a level 6 or there, and obviously maybe some minor 5 and below. But I feel like it's very rare whenever you see that Digitama get put into discussion of whether to get hit or not. And I think it's only ever happened one time with was it Ukomon? Not Ukomon. Bukomon. There you go. Where it's it created a whole type of strategy for blue decks. One thing I keep saying, this is more of a question. I want to see how you guys feel about it. Bowmon, the purple egg.
Oh yeah, that guy gotta get whacked.
Can you explain further? I am not a purple player. I obviously don't know too much on that archetype, but I do see it brought up a lot. I'd love to hear your opinion on it.
Okay, so off that one Bowmon, right? And I think this might kind of cut into what you were gonna bring up for what is it?
Henry?
Right. Yeah. It's specifically this one right here, by the way.
BT14.
From BT7. No, the BT17 one is the BT17 one is the one that I think that's the one that
isn't it the one where you can digivolve into whatever you trash?
Yeah, when an effect places no, that's not the one. That's not
it's BT14.
Do the 14 one.
It's the 14
one. Where it's I have the effect on it right now. It says when a Digimon card with a dark animal or SOC trait is trashed from your hand, this Digimon will digivolve into that card.
The worst part, that is not once per turn.
Yeah.
Okay? You can continuously do that. So you can get to your trying to think of his name.
Fenrir Lugamon?
You can get to your Fenrir Lugamon the same turn that you pushed up your Lugamon. And then you can guarantee the TKM OTK.
Yeah.
And what did you do? You passed he passed turn with a training and a Lugamon in the back.
Then I guess would you want to put it onto this, that list of both that Bowmon and the dual color Fenrir Lugamon thing, or
no? Just hit Bowmon.
Really? Okay.
Ooh, I don't know, man.
That would legitimately gut the deck in ways that you guys do not understand. Like, this card enables so many things for their deck that they don't even like looking at the 17 one because this one just does so much for their deck altogether.
When you think about it, it's a super X antibody because they can do it during the main phase, just when activating when digivolving effects or when attacking effects. So it's like a super X antibody. Just pitch one, immediately digivolve into the whatever they're going into. Yeah. But I'll be honest with you, I agree because I think the talk with Fenrir is a busted deck. But when I was making my list, I chose to hit Soloogarmon from BT16 to 1.
Ooh.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Bring that card up, Zuki.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure.
And that one, I just think,
if we're talking about the deck now, hit this. Talk about this archetype real quick.
yeah, because look, to be honest, the second time they Takemikazuchi you, it's not because of the Bowmon. The first one enables you to do the double, but I think the Soloogarmon is what lets them go into the double, which is just insane.
Yeah.
I think if you hit the soul,
pop a body on board too.
Yeah, pop a body on board or fill your trash with 2 things. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And they don't even play the BT14 one anymore. And I think if you hit Soloogarmon from BT16 to 1, I think it balances the deck out. But I think I know it's honestly a toss up between Bowmon and the Soloogarmon from BT16.
Yeah, that is really where, because you can't hit both. If you hit both, then the deck is just dead, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't play the deck at all. But if you put one of the 2 to 1, it definitely limitates their power.
You're forced to play the other eggs and still kind of have a change up in the strategy that slows it down, which will kind of like it'll take away the OTK aspect.
Yeah, I have to say, if I had to pick which one should get hit, right? Like which one would be more impactful, I probably have to agree with Mr. J and probably whack Soloogarmon, right? Because this guy does so much for the deck. There's times where I've seen motherfuckers slam a level 5. I mean, not slam a 5, slam a 4, and then Digivolve over it into this dude, and then get the full line off that one.
Yeah,
that happened to me in the tournament before.
For me, it's always been, that card has always been like the generic problem solver for the deck, where it's like, oh, I feel like I'm really good against Fenrir right now. I'm like, I have a solid, like, good advantage over them, right? They have nothing on board. They play a level 4 or a 5. It's like, all right, go up to the effects. All right, I'm gonna take out whatever monster, boss monster I have, or like clear my board, and it's like, all right, cool. They still benefit from trashing. It's like, all right, they take it out, but like next turn they recover just as fast.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the scenario of they went in, they slammed a 4, digivolved into this guy, passed over the turn, then they digivolved into Fenrir Luga, passed over some more, played out Takemichi from the trash, Jagras, passed over the put the memory back to 3, then gain all the memory from the line, so they go to 2, and then swing, trash, pop, unsuspend, swing, trash, pop. I'm like, bro, like it doesn't even feel like you earned it. Like you just put a 4 on board and just went straight into the line. Yeah, but I digivolved into it, and then I did the whole thing.
Doesn't make it any, like, no. It's really imbalanced, and it's one of those moments where it's like it breaks how the game is supposed to function as a whole.
Yeah, because you taking advantage of the Jagras, right? And I get that, but this is the only deck that literally just says, "Oh, you don't need both lines on board to do it. We have just played the bodies out for, and then you can Jagras into whatever you need." Like that's insane. Like never in any Digimon strategies have you ever seen where the 2 bodies are not on board to be able to Jagras. He just says, cool, the moment you get to your 6, you in there. As long as you got your lightning dude up in the trash, we good, brother. We good. We finna Jagras. We finna pop some Digimon on your opponent's side of the board. We're gonna deal at least like maybe 3 to 4 pieces of damage. Yeah. If that's not game right there, you know what I mean? Like we're pretty set in, right? Like I've literally had games where I got TKM'd on turn 2, right? And I died. What was I supposed to do, right? As a player, when I go back and I look at that match and I try to figure out what could I have done better as a TCG player?
Nothing.
There's nothing I can do. There's no feedback that I can look at. There's nothing I can do as a player to play better into that situation. I just gotta accept sometimes they just got it.
Yeah. My bad, Zuki. I just shared the stream link onto my Discord because I just thought about it. I was like, oh, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So
But,
I just want to wrap up. It's like I think you make a good term on Fenrir at the end for this archetype. Please do. Overall, we can all agree a yay on just hitting this archetype regardless.
yeah.
To some capacity.
Yeah.
Like just big
Whether
yay.
it's the Bowmon or the Soloogarmon, one of these motherfuckers got to go.
Yeah.
So okay, I guess I want to just pass on for another. Is there any type of archetype that you feel like should get some type of attention to for this ban list?
Oh, it's not a archetype. It's a generic card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same for
And
me.
it's of the purple type.
Ooh, okay.
Me and Zuki
Yeah.
might be thinking about the same card.
All right.
So
Type in that J. I knew it.
Jack.
this motherfucker
I knew
gotta
it.
go.
I knew it.
This motherfucker gotta go, bro. There is no universe or time zone that Hammer Spark got hit the one because it did the exact same thing that Jackraid
Mhm.
does, but better because you can keep reusing that off the mat Ishidas that you're going to keep playing, so you can continuously spam the ever-living fuck out of this card every single turn, extending your plays, extending your turn, just continuously just doing non-gameplay interactions, and you're like, wow, what a fun and engaging game. I am really having a lot of fun watching my opponent just continuously loop the fuck out of broken ass support cards. Like, if I would even be mad about them having Call of Darkness to 1, but it's at 1. So I'm like, okay, you know what? That's cool, right? They got to dig for it. They got to search for it. They got to look for it in some capacity. They can't just use it. Jackraid is at 4.
Mm-hmm.
They are guaranteed to see that motherfucker. And there's a lot of times where you see the motherfuckers just be onto it and just be like, Jackraid. Matt, bounce, Jackraid. And it's like, wow, that's cool. Now what? Yeah, hybrid, swing, pop, cool. He goes to the trash, play him back out, bounce back to Jackraid again, play the Jackraid, go into another hybrid, swing again, change the color, pop, cool. Into the trash, play out another mat, grab another Jackraid. I'm like, oh my God. What a cool card interaction. So much back and forth between me and you as an opponent right now.
I 100% agree with you. It's on my list too. That's why I mentioned it.
No, I
Yeah.
meant I see it a lot. It's just like, would you want to take a hit to 1 or banned? That's my question. Because I want to preface this because yes, we compare it to Hammer Spark. However, you also mentioned this has a potential and strategy to be looped. So it could. Do you think it should be just as harsh or harsher than Hammer Spark?
I think one
I
copy.
Yeah, 1 is fine, right? Even though they can loop it, they can't abuse it like they're doing right. Because there are so many times where you'll go against Purple Hybrid and they have multiples in their hand or multiples that they can see. Because the thing is that even though you can loop it with the mats, you kind of gotta have multiple mats available to loop to re-abuse all the copies of the jacks that you're going to potentially. So if you don't have multiple mats available, you can only loop like 1 or 2. But if it's at 1, now you got to hope that I hit it out of security, or you eventually put it in the trash or something, and then you can start looping it. So you got to dig for this card, just like Call of Darkness, right? Because previously, before, Call of Darkness was just as impactful. I ain't got no Digimon on board. Well, you know, this is a 2-part effect. It says delete a Digimon. Grab 2 purple cards from the trash. That first part is his own effect. The other part I could just do. So I paid the 1 to grab 2 cards back from the trash. Oh, look at that. They were tamers that I needed to reuse or options that not tamers. Digimon, the hybrids that I need to reuse to constantly keep doing these plays all over again and then loop. The problem with the purple hybrid deck isn't so much that they do too much or they pop too much or they hit you too hard. It's the fact that they just keep abusing so much of their cards. And like, I guess that's a cool aspect of the deck. It's not fun being on the opposite end of the table when you're just seeing them looping you to death and you don't really get a chance to play the game and they clear your entire board and hit you for 3 to 4 checks in a turn. And you're like, yeah, you can't swing on me this turn because you just freshly played all these tamers again. But now you pass the turn over to me at 1 or less, and I ain't got no fucking way to come back. I got miscolored tamers, so even if I wanted to go for a hybrid play, I can't play any aces because you changed my color as well. And, you just basically prevent me from doing any type of at all. And then you got the jack raids that just enable your turn to go even longer because you're going to guarantee to start the turn off at 3, sometimes 4 in that deck because of the Koichi, because you're going to toss one of the hybrids to gain the memory. So you're going to start off at 4. You got 4 copies of the jack raid, so then you can go up to 8. Then you can just hybrid, pop, play out again, grab back cards that you need, and just set up for the following turn again. And it's just non-stop, just like that. And there's nothing for you to interact with on their side of just tamers. So you feel like you're forced to have to play cards that remove the tamers themselves. And there's, like I told you guys before, there are no tamer removal like that. We got black, and that's it. So ShineGreymon can pop tamers. Fucking certain option cards, like it's a 5 cost that pops a 3 cost tamer. That exists, but that's also black. You got Black War Greymon. It's in the name, right? What the fuck are other colors supposed to do to pop the tamers?
I think doesn't Dex do Greymon?
Doragoro?
Doragoro pop tamers as well?
Yeah.
Wait, suspended tamers, yeah. But
I'll be right back.
What's the color?
Purple black, yeah. Okay, fair enough. That's a good enough point. Okay. But yeah, fair enough. You make a good enough point on why you want certain that card hit. But I guess I want to transition to a less generic card if we want to talk about another card to get hit. With a lot of decks right now, this is another deck that's been kind of in the meta for like a hot minute. It's not too overpowered, but it's constantly seen in almost every top deck list for the past I say 6 to 8 months, and that would be Imperiomon.
Okay.
Do you think that deck is worth hitting right now, or to at least putting in check?
No. With Japan and other formats right now, currently, like even looking at NA, they ain't been doing shit. Like, there are just way better strategies right now. Like, case in point. What that deck doing against a fully optimized 7 great demons? They got to deal with a whole bunch. See, that deck main benefit is being able to use jamming to swing on people's security. But what you doing against an option field security?
No, you're right. Yeah, because like it's full of bombs at that point, and it's like it can't really do much. But I will put in this question. Mr. J, are you back?
What I miss? I went to the bathroom.
So we brought up a certain. We wanted to try transitioning from from the previous topic to now. How do you feel if Imperiomon worth being hit on the list or being seen? Because it's been a top deck for the past couple months.
They're on my list, honestly.
Really?
You want me to give you my take?
Let me first catch you up first.
Mhm.
Zuki actually disagrees that it shouldn't be really seen for any form of hitting whatsoever. He can, if he wants to restate, paraphrase his version of his
Yeah.
reasoning.
Basically, what I said is that looking at NA result and looking at Japan result, Imperial Blue Green ain't been doing shit. Like, they'll be lucky to get a top here and there, but that deck has been optimized to the here and back, and they still are struggling to get results right now in the current status that they're in. And that main benefit of that deck is that they have jamming, right? And they can get to the jamming parts pretty efficiently. Problem is that you can run into stuff like 7th grade demon lords with a variety of options in their security, like crush and bite, bite and crush.
Yeah.
And they run like 3 to 4 copies of that card because it's so good. Why would I not run that card, right? And it's also listed as a 7th grade demon for some reason, so you could put it in the security source. I mean, put it in the source for your gate. So that, I mean, it's a reason why when we looked at the NA Nats, it was 4 purple decks that made it. Each one different, but it was 4 purple decks.
Have you guys seen the Ultimate Cup results in the top 8 lists? It was 6 purple hybrid, but the other 2 decks were Imperial.
That's also why I wanted to bring it up. With like, no matter like if it's not topping, it's always on the radar of like in the top few contenders, where it hasn't really been going away, and it's been like the main strategy to kind of fight back against purple.
Yeah, I think what was on my list for Imperial, or do you want to continue talking about if it deserves?
Oh no, we weren't even talking about purple as much. So we're talking about. I guess I want to further go on with Imperial, where despite I don't see it working as much, I still think the strategy is just really busted. Just having to fight it so many times, and mind you, I say it because like I'm as a yellow player, I have an advantage over it, but I think a lot of what people have been problems of is just how much of it can bounce in recursion, more specifically with like Matt and let me see what I had the card the dual color tamer that essentially can splash it. Davis and Ken, where at the beginning of your turn you get to obviously play a level 3 for free, and then it obviously comes back. I think the biggest advantage is like obviously you have to like pay the 4 immediately, but I think like once you get like a few of those running, it's kind of really hard to fight back mid and late game, and especially if they obviously play it. And unless you have like Crimson Blaze or any of the nature, it's like it's so easy to like you knock off 1 tower, next turn they go immediately back because they take advantage of this is the one archetype that takes advantage of Joker's to some full potential, and even has some small bits of protection like the option card that if you somehow delete it, it can go into a different Imperodramon.
Nah, it gotta be by battle.
Oh, fair enough. But still, it's a form removal and still form protection, and not to mention it's just like with jamming and a lot of other incorporations of like with partition, it's really annoying. And I feel like it's worth kind of being considered to some form of the chopping block. Not like saying a ban per se, but something. Especially because it is a protagonist deck, and it's going to get more support. Where it even got more support announced for BT21, of course. So that's my reasoning. At least.
It's not new support for them specifically, but yeah, I mean, you do bring up a good point because they do have more cost reduction VMon they got coming out. So now we got 12 cost reduction VMons in the game.
Mm-hmm. You have to also look perspective, like because it's a protagonist deck and it's fan favorite. Like it was a big joke where this Digimon card game was called the VMon card game. Yeah. Where it's just like it's only going to get more support even if we as time goes on, and it's going to be a high chance that they're going to have more support. They're going to synergize with the archetype, and the archetype is at a point where it's like it can do a lot, so it has to get some form of like reduction.
You guys mentioned Primogenitor, but Primogenitor is just when it would be deleted by other than one of your effects. So if deleted by battle, deleted by effect, it would proc Primogenitor. So like I said, I did have it on my list, and I think if we hit the BT16 Davis and Ken, that's gonna kill the deck outright.
Yeah.
But
I think hitting it to 1 will be fine.
No, I I think you'll like destroy Imperial pretty much. But if you hit the memory gain level 4s, I think that would balance the deck a little bit more. If you hit like the BT12 Sting, BT12 XV, it would force them to play the other ones, which not gaining 2 memory of the DNA is gonna be big, to be honest.
It lets them end their turn. It lets them end their turn on Jokers. It lets them end their turn on Jokers and not have to care too much about the memory gauge, where it's like, oh, I'm okay going past like 1 or 2 and immediately come back to 0 or 1 and lets them continue their turn.
Or if they trigger partition, they can activate the BT12 inheritables again, or that effect, and gain 2 more memory when they spit the bodies back out. So you essentially gain 4 memory for like blasting and then killing the level 5, which is just crazy.
And what people did to optimize the deck at its best, right, was Jogress, gain 2, swing for the 2 checks, go return the Primogenitor for 2, and then Digivolve into the structure deck Dragon mode, spit out the 2 4s, then Jogress again, and you basically get 2 more checks. So you did 4 damage off what? It cost you absolutely nothing there.
Well, you gain 4 memory basically off just the level 4s. In that combo that you mentioned, you gain 4 memory.
Yeah, but you spend 2 to do the play
with the primo.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's insane, right? And I definitely agree with you, but I would say from like it's hard to want to hit something that does kind of like, let's put this in perspective. When the other decks that were doing better than Imperial were at the top of their game before they got whacked, they were not in the top deck radar at all. When those other decks got whacked, that made Imperial the apex predator. Right or wrong?
What deck was it?
They hit basically any deck that was abusing the Uko lines. Yeah. So like Mirage, not Mirage.
Numemon? Was
Numemon
one of them?
Yeah, Numemon was one of them, but it was mainly Jesus, I cannot think of his name. It was the ancient Garurumon. There we go. Ancient Garurumon was a main abuser, and it was the Numemon and Ancient Garurumon that were topping way more than them. Then they whacked both their sub-engines, essentially killing their decks, right? Because no one plays Numemon at all anymore. It is not seen anywhere.
Oh, you're talking about the Uko and the Louis Awada hit, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So when those cards got whacked, it really hurt those 2 decks to the point where they just did not exist anymore. And so Imperial had all their game to be able to show themselves as the best deck in the format. And for a few tournaments, they did get those results. Then new purple strategies started popping head, right? You started seeing Lugamon start topping a lot more. 7th grade Demon Lord started popping up more, right? You started seeing a lot of other decks perform just as well, if not better, than the Imperial. Now we are moving towards BT19, BT20, and looking at the results of Japan, just looking at Japan alone, right? Their format, Imperial is still good, but it's not the Imperial we're talking about right now. We're talking about red purple, because that motherfucker is breaking the game. I know you don't keep up with a lot of the cards that on the way out, if it's not something that you're interested in, Hugo, but let me tell you, when I say that is going to be at the top of your shit list, that is going to be at the top of your shit list. Like, you are not going to like that card, that deck at all. It is not going to be fun to play against. And you are going to be like, why are they able to do this? Why are they able to do that? Why does they get to do this? Why do they get to do that? It's Imperial, but not the Imperial you used to.
Wait, so are we putting BT12 XV and Sting on the list or no?
Okay, with it, honestly,
I can see the world with that,
it's honestly a very nice take. I have not seen enough people talk about, and I think about it, I'm like, damn, yeah, no, those pairs are annoying.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, no, those guys. I can see a world where they say, "All right, guys, you guys have abused this way too much. We need you. We gave you guys plenty of other. We gave you plenty of other cards to use. Can y'all use those, please? Like we gave you plenty of other Stingmons and ExVeemons. You can use those, right?
Yeah. Well, I was also gonna ask. That was the end of my list for my restriction, but I was also thinking of talking about cards that could come back. Do you guys have any more banlist cards to come up to bring up, or do you want to talk about cards that come back?
I got like one more. I got two more.
Okay.
So obviously, I still want to talk on topic because I think Veemon is still a culprit that I'm staring at. And this is more of
this Veemon hate needs to stop, brother.
Sorry, my hot take. I don't like Veemon. Never liked the guy.
My gosh, bro. That's
sorry, I didn't like season 2. I'm sorry. But no, so this is not my personal hatred, but I can understand why a lot of people don't like it as well. And it's been a boss monster for like a hot minute, and that's Magnamon X antibody.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you think it's worth to be put some form of attention on that?
I mean, I say it like this. That dude is problematic in certain formats, but he can't do shit currently right now. But I don't know if you know this.
No, you're right.
Galletmon,
oh yeah,
checks this motherfucker so hard it doesn't make any sense. When you get up to 21k and you swing and they ain't got no security, they gotta block. Cool. Now you just lost your Magnamon. You spent all that time trying to protect that motherfucker. Now he's gone, right? And I'ma just pop it, the body that you leave behind. You got 2 forms of armor removal to protect it, but you know, the reason why this guy particularly hasn't really been is because he gets checked really hard by by Galletmon.
Oh, and I think that's a good point, because I think like before Gallant became a thing, it was kind of a menace for a lot of players, and I think if we're talking on that aspect, yeah, it's a big problem. And now I think just no one expected Galletmon to kind of be the suppressor for it. That would be like the unexpected answer. Before I was like, oh, just block, but like no other deck could really block outside of like black for collision and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think if it's still a menace later on, it could be a factor if it somehow can evade obviously the Galletmon stuff, where it's still worth enough to be be on the radar, you know, where it can still because of how much invulnerability it has. Because I think Zuki, you and I have mentioned before, like Bandai has been having a big trend of making a lot of boss monsters super invulnerable.
Yeah.
And just kind of saying it's like, I don't care what the game is, you can't touch me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do what I want. And I think it's like that could also just be a theme of like, all right, how are we handling cards like that in the future? Because not every one of them is gonna have a solid counter.
Yeah. And like, using Galletmon as an example, the Galletmon, like the regular Galletmon, he has when your memory gauge is at 0, he gains the immunity. When you go into your Galletmon X antibody, he only has immunity to Digimon effects. So if you hit an option out of security, he can't be checked. So they did make some steps in the right direction by printing him as you can still interact with tamers, you can still interact with options, right? You can still interact with stuff that pops out of security. You just are immune to any Digimon effects, which is good, right? Because I can still interact with you. I just don't have all interactions with this Digimon. But the base form Galletmon does offer that complete immunity, but you won't get all access that fucking right swing kill you type of power that Galamon has. So, you know, it's pick your poison type of thing. Do you give up the complete immunity to gain access to all the power that you have? Or do you gain immunity to just Digimon effects and gain all the powers that you have in your deck now? So that's a really good design for Bandai went into Galamon particularly. Mm-hmm. Whereas with the Magnamon and the other card that's gaining immunity for everything is the Jesmon. Yeah, it's just not cool. You know what I mean? Like, you can't interact with them. You can't activate anything against them. They just say, yeah, I'm good. You know, you can't really do anything. I'm here, you know?
Mm-hmm. Do you see, so I guess like that goes into my next question, because you need to bring up Galamon as a counter to that. This is more of a future-proofing question to look on the horizon. Do you see Galamon as like a problem that should be hit later on or not? Or should be like dealt with now?
Based on Japan results, that motherfucker is definitely topping a lot of events. He raw as hell.
But if you had to hit it though, what would you hit?
The obvious answer is X anybody. But if you hit that, then the deck goes back to tier 2, if not lower.
Mm-hmm.
What if we hit one of the Takatos?
I don't even play Takato on my build, bro. And I legit was practicing yesterday with friends, and I didn't drop a game. Well, I dropped a game, but I didn't lose a match. Because if you go into BT7 Gallon and you're at 0 memory, I'm immune. I can do whatever I want. I hit option security. I don't care.
Yep.
I'm immune.
See, he knows what I'm talking about. That's the.
I don't need a Takato. If anything, Cool Boy is allowing me to do like draw cards and gain memory, so I can manipulate the memory to go back to 0 and then swing. And if I go into Gallon X, tap Cool Boy, like you paid 1 to go into Gallon X, tap Cool Boy, go back to 0, and now I'm immune again, and I can go ahead and swing for the rest of the checks. So I don't think Takato is the problem, because even in once we get 2.5, they have it split between the Raid Takato and the Blitz Takato.
I will say that Raid Takato does make a big impact. Oh my god.
Yeah, because I think once you get the Raid one, Magnamon X, I don't know if it's going to be relevant, because there's so much Galamon representation in the meta right now that once we get the Raid Takato, Magnamon's going to fall off like completely.
Yeah. And it hurts to think about, because what's going to basically come is that you're not going to run any of the old Takatos anymore. So no more EX2 Takatos. RIP to all the people who owned all the art arts. But you're not running him no more. You're not running the BT12 Takatos anymore. You're just running 19, and you're just running the one from BT17. And the reason why is because the BT17 one allows you to warp at the end of your turn. So you can literally slam a Guillemon, activate his effect at the end of the turn because you just passed turn to 3. Put the 2 underneath, go into the raid, the rush Galamon, swing, trigger Takato, gain raid. You're going to try to pop something, then you're going to swing and try to pop something again. And you could also Digivolve further if you got X10.
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, like, it's so good, bro. It's so good.
Yeah,
But you can't really hit anything out of it, because this has been a collection over a time period that has gotten to that point where you made the deck into what it is right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's I'm not sure what's a fair hit. Like, going off the Phantom's like question, I'm not sure what's fair, because if you hit Takato's, like, honestly, the problem is Galamon X and the immunity, right? Mm-hmm. But man, I don't know how to hit the deck that would be fair.
You'd have to do what Zuki mentioned, or I think one of you guys mentioned, just hit one of the like either a Cool Boy or like saying like one of the X antibodies, like Proto-Form. Like, actually take care of one of the not the archetype itself, but what's supporting the archetype.
Okay. You might be cooking with that one.
Because that way it also prevents a lot of future proofing of a lot of other archetypes. That's exactly why I even mentioned Proto-Form in the first place. It helps benefit a lot of archetypes to a whole other level by putting it to one. It helps keep it in check and balance where you can still run it, but it's not something overly reliant.
Well, Gallimon actually uses just X antibody though. Like not Proto-Form, just X antibody.
I use 1 Proto-Form and 2 of the BT9 one because Proto-Form's still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you still want to keep your turn before you do your big play, but majority of the time with Gallimon, you don't mind passing turn because you're still going to be able to deal all the damage, pop everything on their side of the board, and still, you know, leave themselves at a, you got to come back from this game state, big. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you got to come back from this.
But I think I'm good on my list now. I got a good chunk of what I wanted covered.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other cards that I wanted to hit. My biggest offenders, in my opinion, was definitely the Leviamon. He's been around for way too long. He definitely needs to get hit to 1. You have other Leviamon that you can use. Granted, I know it's not as impactful. But that's the point, right? It's more fair gameplay. Like I mentioned, Jack Raid, same reason for Hammer Spark. It's free memory for no cost at all. And on top of that, you can abuse it with your Tamer engine. And I definitely agree with the Mirage Galgamon. That was one that I personally had on my list. And the Shine, I think that motherfucker should just be banned. I don't see a timeline or dimension where that's healthy for the game. And it kind of feels along the lines of Mega Digimon Fusion, right? Imagine being able to get to a point where you can go into any level 7 for. That's what Mega Digimon Fusion used to be. Now, let's say every purple and or yellow deck has access to literally stall you out of 2 turns of your gameplay. That's terrible. That's terrible. Like, I don't get to play the game at all. Like, most of the decks that I like to play, and a lot of people like to play, are combo-based decks, right? I have to build up to my point. If I can't build up, I just lose. And so you end up in a situation where, you know, you basically doing the L dance on top of me, and I just got to sit there and be like, damn, must be fucking nice.
But okay, so let's go back to Mr. J's question. Instead of putting cards on the list, what would you see yourself taking off?
Honestly,
can I bring up the obvious one?
I know we talked about it before, like last time we were joking about it. I don't know if Greymon X could come back to 4, but I think you could. It would be like the very first card to be at 2 copies.
I don't even see it at 2 copies. I think just Greymon X, it's fine. We have a lot of other decks that are just as fast. It'll help compete even with the Greymon support. And plus, if it comes back being a problem, you just re-hit it. Some other card games have had that issue before. It's like you won't know until you find out.
Yeah.
It's a fuck around and find out type of situation.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that.
Look, I can count like 5 decks already in the next upcoming formats that are just as powerful as that Black War Greymon back from BT11 that can have just as much power and prevalence that I think it'll give Greymon decks, or even Omni decks if you want to play around in that category, to kind of fight back up. Omnimon deck is still a bit of a stretch, but you get my point.
Yeah. So Greymon X to 4. I think we're going.
Yeah, I like that.
I would love it, man, because like I said, I love War Greymon, Black War Greymon too, but I'm not sure. Purple, there's gonna be no hybrid decks in the meta once it comes back to 4 because you're just gonna blow up all the tamers, right? It's not gonna matter.
Hey, that sounds like a damn problem. That's a skill issue right there, big dog.
So I have a fun question now. Then, if we want to bring it back, if we saw Magnamon obviously being put in check because of Gallimon so much where it's gonna be like irrelevant, do you see Awakening of the Golden Knight come back?
Is it restricted to 1?
Yeah.
Wait, what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no,
No, that's what they got whacked because they got tired of vaccine abusing it. They got tired of all these other yellow
I forgot
or
about
blue
that.
decks. Yeah,
but
No.
it brings up a good point now. If you think about it, again, Magnamon and specifically was a deck that was a problem, but now it's being fine.
No, keep it there. I don't want that thing back.
All right, a little bias. What about you, Zuki?
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that one at all. Yeah.
I want to see it just because I'm like, if we're gonna have an overpowered like meta, let's see what happens, you know? Because you never know what might happen. Now, mind you, if it's still a big menace, I'll take the L and just just put it right back where it belongs. You never know. But I'm definitely an encouragement of that.
That's a wild take. But okay.
I think what other ones am I seeing? Of recent.
Wait, Phantom, weren't you talking about how you don't really like Magnamon? Now you want that? You want to bring back the option card?
I don't think it's the point whether I like a deck or not. I'm also just always going to be in favor of a healthy meta, and I'm going to think of decks that I don't normally play that can probably change it up. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just a purple hater though. I'm not going to lie though.
Oh,
yeah. The issue I see is that I don't want that card to come back to 4 because I think TK from BT14 was wrongly hit. I think they should have I think they should have hit the 1-cost option card.
The Angel of Hope. What I think
Emissary of Hope.
Emissary of Hope. Okay. Yeah.
But Emissary doesn't do anything without a TK on board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need a TK on board. That's why I would say you hit Emissary and you bring back TK to 4 copies.
That's man, y'all got some hot takes.
Am I biased though because I'm an Angel player? Yes.
You know what? At least you admit it. Not other players can admit it.
I just get upset when Bandai hits cards indirectly. Like Magnamon X was the problem. They're like, you know what? Let's hit the surrounding cards. Like, come on, bro.
No, they
killing my
hit
deck.
vaccine in general.
Yeah.
Yellow vaccine was the biggest problem at the time.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they had access to be able to get to the Magnamon in the same turn and without passing.
Exactly. Cause all I hear was Magnamon.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think.
What other cards could y'all use in vaccine that was like impactful?
Nothing. That's why it was just Magnamon that was abusing his cards.
So that's what I'm saying though. Vaccine doesn't have any real boss monsters that would have made a big impact like Magnamon would.
Yeah.
What would you would have went into? Seraphimon, right?
Yeah. Or you know what? If we switch Magnamon to a data for some reason, for some fucking random reason, it would work, right?
I guess, yeah.
Not saying they should do that. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just saying when I saw the TK getting hit and I was so upset because like this is not even a vaccine problem. It's a Magnamon problem.
Yeah, but like Magnamon checks, like Magnamon is its sole purpose is a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
He makes it so, like, let's say I was playing a bullshit deck like Leviamon or fucking, I don't know,
like Bowmon or something, like Bowmon.
Right, like just some random bullshit deck, right? I won't be able to do anything because this motherfucker exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That is what his purpose is. He is a gatekeeper to prevent bullshit decks from ever being able to do anything in the card game. So it forces players to have to go and actually A, take the game more seriously, and B, invest more money into the card game. That could work kind of like a double-edged sword because sometimes it gets people to focus up and be like, man, I'm tired of losing. I'm going to really invest my money into a real deck and, you know, get results that I'm trying to get. Now, other times you get people who say, man, fuck this game. I give up on it. I don't want to play this shit anymore.
Yeah.
So he kind of bridges that for a lot of people. And another example of a card that kind of did that for a lot of people was in BT10 when they first introduced Cross Hearts, and they had ×4, or was it? Yeah, I think it was ×4, where he literally gets to play out of body, draw 2 cards, give himself rush, swing, unsuspend the dude, get back the 2 bodies that you use for him, on top of being able to draw 2 more cards. So then you can guarantee another play and just you go ×4, ×4, ×4, ×4. You're like, bro, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with this. How am I supposed to keep up with this? This is way too fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what made a lot of people kind of drop off of Digimon when they first introduced Cross Hearts.
Wait, so
and
those 4
things,
the Greymon X, the Awakening, and the TK. So are you gonna put like the up to 4 copies, right, on the DigimonCard.dev, so that the audience knows?
So what I wanted to do was kind of go over everything that we got on this list, and yays and nays, and how likely it is to actually, get affected on the list.
Yeah, I just thought you were gonna put like ×4 on Greymon, ×4 on Awakening, ×4 on TK to show the show the difference, because you can just click it, the plus button on the Greymon. Yeah. And then if we want to display all of them on the screen, you can hit the magnifying glass. You can hit the minus button so that we can see all of them, like on the, like it's that 100% minus. Yeah, we might get there.
We put a lot of cards.
Yeah,
on this
we
list.
did.
I mean, it's been like an hour and a half of straight talking about Digimon, so it's like I feel like it was productive.
Yeah, this is a good. I think this is a good list.
So I have a fun question, because I noticed in this list. So hypothetically, say if Mirage does get hit, right? Say this happens. Do you think there's a reason for Mock Galgamon to get hit?
You mean come back?
Yes, or to come back. My apologies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason to fully come back there. Mind you, do you want me to refresh what the effect does or no?
No, I mean I know what he does.
It's the when Digivolving.
Yeah, it's like a suspend. Yeah,
unsuspend, and then he also gets to bounce to level 4.
Yeah, level 4.
Yeah, because I feel like once Mirage gets hit, there's kind of almost no terrible reason why he's kind of there, because he was supposed to be an indirect hit to Mirage that just kind of didn't really do much.
No, it wasn't an indirect. That was very direct.
My
they
bad.
wanted that motherfucker to get whacked. He just didn't die. That nigga was resilient. You had to hit the boss monster himself. I'll tell you like this. If they put the good Mirage to 1 and they force people to have to play with the BT13 Mirage, the deck is dead. If they put him to 1 and they force you to have to play 4 copies of the other one, the deck is dead.
Yeah.
But if you've noticed, most people don't even run pure Mirage anymore, right? You don't see Thomas's anymore. You don't see any of that stuff, because that was too much of a fair deck, right? That was a fair deck. What they've transitioned to is more of, I want to extend my turn and then tax you for playing the game. Have you ever heard of paying taxes in a card game? Sorry. What? Every time you search, every time you add a card by an effect, pay your taxes. You're like, damn, nigga, I'm trying to play a card game. Damn, that's crazy. Pay your taxes. You sure you trying to play? A card?
It's crazy. But no, you make a good point on that. So it's like, but yeah, no, I think that's kind of all I got for coming stuff back. I think everything else is kind of pretty justified. All it is like, I can think of is like a bunch of purple stuff that is like, keep that there.
What purple cards are on the list?
A lot of like I saw the Melga stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of Melga
they
stuff.
Can get that back. They can get that back.
Really?
Yeah, they can get all that back.
Not the level 4, but I think Gabu X could come back to form.
No, what about the purple Gabumon? Or no, I got back to 4, I think too.
It's literally a super Dobermon X. Why would I want that card back? Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, that one draws you 2 and you discard 2. Dobers only draw 1, discard 1. So, yeah, that the level 4 can stay on the list. It's not coming back.
He said, "Nah, bro. I don't see any universal time zone where that card is helpful." Look, the main reason why that engine even got whacked was because of Apocalypse. Let's be honest. Let's keep it a bean. Because Apocalypse is at 1, I can see a universe where they can give them and got fucking what's it called? Like, can actually do crazy stuff again. Like, I want to see decks be able to compete. When was the last time you seen a Garurumon deck doing? I'll wait.
Fair enough. Okay.
You know, it's not gonna be. It's not. The problem is not Garurumon. The problem is that it's abusing different engines or different decks. That's the problem.
That's true. I mean, the new stuff that they got for purple, they locked it with the Garurumon stuff. Like I was telling you guys before, with the whole new design philosophy. So, yeah, I see where you're coming from. Like, it's pretty hard with the fact that it's generic. So you can just do whatever you want with it. And you know what's so funny about you talking about that, though, Hugo, is that we got a friend named Davis, super cool guy. He used to bring up the fact that he never used to go outside of the traditional for that Digimon. And I was like, brother, you are holding yourself back by not using other colors. I mean, using the other cards within your color scheme to abuse and maximize the effectiveness of your deck.
Yeah.
And, you know, the more and more that they keep printing all these cards that just work with other decks, the more and more you kind of bump into these situations. How do we balance this? How do we make this work? Because you want to make every deck viable. You want to make every deck feel good. You want to make every deck feel like they can play. But you always bump into the situation of, if we bring back certain cards, this was before we got into that new design for, we got to lock it within our archetype. So I definitely see where you're coming from. I wanted to say, bring it back so Garurumon can do stuff. But then other decks can use the Garurumon stuff and be like, we eating good too.
It's a similar situation of why my yellow-red Greymon is at 1.
Right.
Because, like, I want it back for Shine. It's going to be phenomenal. But Vaccine and Yellow X be like, you sure about that? Like, looks.
And they're like, we eating good too, brother. You know, they come over there and start dabbing you up. You like, hold on, big dog, this for me. Yeah, but we eating good too, right? I mean, I didn't know you was a part of the
homies for that. But yeah, no, it's like there's some decks some cards in there I feel like on paper for their archetype, it's not that bad, but they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm all good. I'm tapped out on like what on my list now.
Yeah, same. I was trying to keep the stream under 2 hours, to be honest.
Oh, perfect then. I think this list has been amazing.
So final yays and nays for all the cards, and how likely are they to get affected? Mirage Gagumon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yeah. All 100% anonymous. How likely you think this is gonna get?
If it doesn't get hit, it's gonna get power craft, is what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
It came out in BT 11.
Yeah, BT 11.
And this is BT 20, and they are still getting results in Japan. So,
unfortunately, you were correct, but like someone can dream.
That's a whole. I definitely see a world. After they didn't hit it on the last list, and they heard the cries, and then when they constantly kept seeing it top, I don't see them not saying, we gotta respect this deck. It gotta get hit. Mm-hmm.
Cohen
Sai, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Yay.
Big old
so
yay.
we doing choice restriction or limited?
Oh, limited.
Just limited. I don't think it's through choice restriction yet. So it's like
Okay. I think this is definitely a like. So, ruin mode. Yeah or nay?
yeah. Yeah. I'm like, just get out of here.
I'll say
Poison is
yay.
poison. Poison is
yay.
poison.
So okay, so all yay on that one, and then how likely?
Very.
Okay.
I wouldn't say
Just
it's. I don't think it's likely.
It's too much of an attention. It's still being shown. Reprints aside, I can see it still.
Okay. They did sell the reprints already, so they could definitely hit it. All right. Proto-Form, yay or nay?
I'm gonna say yay, but that's because I brought it up. So I got a biased take on that.
I say nay on that one.
I say yay. They can hit it to 1. They can definitely hit it to 1. It'd still do all the power that it has, and it wouldn't change too much of what's going on. It's just make it a little less consistently seen and a lot less security, artificial security that you can continuously loop.
Okay, nice.
And in terms of likeliness, though, I don't see a world where no, unfortunately.
No.
Do I want it to get hit? Yes. Do I think it will get hit? No.
Sweet.
Dobermon X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that going to 1.
Yeah.
Some form of hit. I can see it.
How likely? It's
Nah.
debatable. It's debatable because then that's the question of: do you hit the engine or do you hit the boss monster?
Yeah.
You know,
If it's for an indirect hit, that's probably what it would be the culprit of. But if they're trying to be direct, which is likely Bandai will probably have to do, no.
yeah, this one's 50-50. Like I don't really got a solid answer on this one.
I agree.
Yeah, it's hard to know what Bandai is cooking. Some they definitely every list they've ever come out with has always been impactful, but it's kind of hard to tell. Leviamon, yay or nay?
Nay.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep saying yes. Like I just don't like that card.
Yeah,
It bugs me so much.
yeah. I'm gonna say yeah on that one. I'm also like 50-50 on this one. I don't know if they're gonna hit it, but I would love for them to hit it. But yeah, I'm 50-50 on that one as well. Analog Youth, yay or nay?
Nay for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nay.
Fair enough. I'll take the L on that, but I still think it was a decent take.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, they got too much planned for the guy coming up soon, so I don't see them not, continuing to have it at the thing because then people gonna want. Bowmon, yay or nay?
Yes.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
That thing is busted.
In terms of likeliness, though, this one I feel like is more like Soloogarmon, only because I feel like they feel that this would hurt them more than the Soloogarmon. But I don't know,
No, that's fair.
So, but Soloogarmon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, it's, like I said, as long as the archetype gets hit, it's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
one or the other has to get hit. That's for sure.
For sure. I'm also yay. Likeliness, I feel like this one is less likely to get hit, just because I feel like Bandai would be like, oh well, we don't want to murder the deck, we just want to hurt the deck, and I feel like they would think that this one would be a lot easier to balance around than the Bowmon.
Yeah.
Jack Ray, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
However, I don't think it's gonna be likely though.
What?
No, I think it is likely. It is super I don't. That's for me though, because purple hybrid, like it says topping everywhere.
And on top of that, it does the exact same thing that
Hammer Spark.
Hammer Sparks does,
but better.
yeah, because you can loop it.
I can see it. I just don't. I can just see Bandai wanting to just have bigger fish to fry, in my opinion. But that's just my personal opinion. But I'm agreeing with you. It is ban worthy, or hit worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do these two together. You know, they're part of the same thing. ExVeemon, Stingmon, yay or nay?
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah.
Likelihood, I don't see it though.
Yeah. Right. Like I was saying before, they've been struggling to get results as of recently, and they haven't gotten any results in Japan as of recently. The Imperial list that everybody's playing right now is not blue green. I can tell you that one. So, the ExVeemon, Stingmon, if they wanted to make some real hard choices for blue green to really diversify the pool cards, yeah, you definitely hit those and put them to one, and then really force them to have to adapt their game plan to other stuff. So yeah, I definitely agree with that one. The likeliness, I don't see it high, but yeah, those would be some really good hits. Magnamon, yay or nay?
I want to say yes, but just because I've been dead against the deck. But after the discussion, I can feel like it can stay. It can stay.
Yeah, man, I feel the same way. I used to hate the deck, but I feel like right now it's just all right. I would say nay.
Yeah, I would say nay as well.
Yeah.
Like Magnamon is exactly that. He's a gatekeeper. He makes it so people have to take the game more seriously and play real decks. Otherwise, you're gonna get your shit blasted. That is just as simple as that.
Yeah, I will say I know we're moving towards the at 4 copies. I do think if Awakening goes at 4, then Magnamon would be a big issue though. Like.
Yeah, no, it's a hypothetical where it's like that's why it's like you want to, if it's irrelevant, give it the boost, you know.
Yeah. Now we're on the wish list for stuff to get unrestricted. 4 copies of Greymon X anybody? Yay or nay?
100% yes.
Yeah.
I'm right on the board with you.
I've been wanting
Bring that motherfucker back.
I've been wanting it to come back for like almost a year now.
Yeah, bro. Like when he got hit, everybody and their mama there was like, "Oh, the deck ain't dead." That deck died bad. Oh my god, it was terrible. They didn't do shit. They didn't do Nathan. And they was trying so hard, brother. They tried to use Delta. They tried to use other things to help cost reduction. It just didn't hit the same. Yeah. And now, you know, you could even use it in a vaccine line. You know how impactful it is to have your training go into so scenario. You got Agumon, you got a tie. You promote the Agumon. Agumon, BT14, trigger his effect, Digivolve into a Greymon. You X Digivolve into the Greymon X antibody. You still got a training on board. Then you go into your level 5 for 1. Then you use the training, go into your level 6 for 1. You did that off that same turn. I feel like it would definitely boost the power of other decks that have been needing to show up in the meta that has not been here at all. When's the last time you've seen a Agumon/Greymon deck do anything?
True.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree. This guy needs to come back. And then Awakening of the Golden Knight. Yay or nay?
I think yay, but only with like a condition we mentioned previously. Magnamon has to be kind of like left in the dust right now, currently.
Yeah,
where it's like give it the boost if it deserves it.
I don't think it's there just yet, so I'm gonna say nay on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nay on that one, only because I don't see a world where you having the ability to use 3 memory to go into an immune 6, like. Do you hear how crazy that sounds?
Yeah.
You pay 3 to go into an immune 6, and then he gets a double swing. Like, I don't know.
And he can't be DP reduced, right? With Awakening, that's also the second effect. He can't be DP reduced.
So you can't even yellow check him.
Yeah.
Because that's how most yellow decks deal with Digimon DP production. So, but it wouldn't even have mattered anyway. How was you going to do that with him having immunity?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
but like premium DP reduction, where it's until the end of your opponent's turn, if they use Awakening, I mean, I guess it gets around that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see this card being super healthy because 3 to go into a 6 that's immune to everything, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the thing with Awakening is you can Digivolve from any armor, right? So you could just have like a Veedramon armor, play Awakening, and go into Magnamon X for 3.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, I will say the TK, you can bring that back if they hit Magnamon. If they hit Magnamon, then you can bring the TK back to
I guess
then Angels can use it.
Yeah.
And other decks can use it. It's just that motherfucker can be abused in the deck that was never intended for it. He was literally designed for Veemon, not every other
Phantom. I think with Phantom, if you want to give Magnamon X indirect support, I think you could bring TK back to 4 and leave Awakening at 1.
See, but I don't like Yellow Vaccine though. That's me.
That wasn't fun. And then they abused Ruin Mode too, bro.
Oh yeah, Ruin Mode got to go to 1. That right?
Bro, you gotta ban that motherfucker, bro. You cannot have him at 1. Look, what they were doing before was literally doing a gajillion checks. Then they like, all right, cool. They might be able to come back and be able to win if I just leave the Magnamon up here. So to make sure they can't do anything, I'm gonna go Ruin Mode.
Yeah.
I don't care if I lose my Magnamon, I can go into it again the following turn because I got another Patamon in the raising area.
Like you were saying, it's one of those situations where it's like it gets hit or the problem's never gonna get fixed. It has to be banned.
So now you got to deal with the negative 5k block and another Magnamon that I'm finna bring up from the raising area. You can't have all of these same format. Otherwise, you're gonna bump into previous format again of Yellow Vaccine just dominating.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I like Yellow. Yellow's a cool concept. It's just when they combine too much stuff together that has that is not on paper supposed to work together, but then just works and just does stuff super effectively. It's like, do we really need all these cards? You know what I mean? But Mod Galgamai, yay or nay?
Yeah, I don't see too much issue as long as Mirage gets handled because there's I don't see any actual reason for it to be there.
Yeah, for sure. If they whack Mirage, they can bring him back and then be like, hey, I mean, you could still unsuspend swing and then go into your level 7 and do it again, you know? But then I would force them to have to go back to the original line and use Thomas's again and not be able to abuse the Galaxy engine. So I think that would encourage a lot of healthy gameplay. So yeah, I definitely agree with them.
Same, I agree.
Nice.
All right. Well, I think that is everything. Did you have any closing thoughts for us, Phantom?
No, I think I'm good. I think this has been a really productive list. A big shout out to Mr. J for having this idea, bringing up this idea for this concept. I think we had a really good discussion, and I think like we had a really good predictable picks, and I think we had a decent amount of like hot takes, even more than just my end.
And then, Mr. J, got any closing thoughts?
No, man. I mean, thank you guys for coming along. I think this was, like you said, pretty productive. I think we have a good restriction list going here. Probably the best, may I say, the best restriction list going here.
Oh boy.
For me, it was a lot of fun. I really do like doing these collaborations with you guys. It's always a lot of fun. Just talking Digimon. As you can see, I can yap for days for Digimon. I love this game. That even though I hate purple, that one kind of makes me loathe the game sometimes. I do really genuinely love this game a lot.
Yeah.
So it's nice to always have a good discussion about it in terms of trying to help make it more healthy, more balanced, and more fun. So if you did want to introduce friends or new people into the game, there isn't that awkward conversation of, yeah, you kind of got to deal with that, or you kind of got to deal with this, or you kind of got to deal with this, right? Like, yeah. So I like this general idea that we got right here, and I feel like this would definitely help make the game a lot healthier, more balanced, and more easier for people to deal with. He said, "Perp deck, best deck."
Nice.
They definitely get a lot of they get over-tuned a lot in every single set. They always print something that's really broken for them. So, I don't know what somebody did over at the design team at Bandai, but man, they was like, bro, you got to show some love to purple. And then they just did it every single set after that point, because they haven't been losing at all. And
yeah. But yeah, all right. I guess if you want to do like a wrap up, I guess.
If you guys haven't already, definitely make sure to check out Mr. J's Strategy Plays. They are on Twitch and on YouTube. You can find their content on both of those platforms. So definitely make sure to check those guys. Check out his stuff. True the Ace, thank you for the follow. And make sure to check out Phantom Blur. Right now, currently, they only have a TikTok. It's under Phantom Blur. And you can find their TikTok. They primarily do Beyblades, but believe it or not, they are a Digimon player.
Trust me, Digimon content is on the way. I'm just kind of like waiting for the merger to happen because nothing's really interesting, causing any interest for me right now. It's more of waiting, but like, trust me, I'm taking advantage of this content here as well. But at the moment, I'm kind of like Beyblade has my main attention until after the merger.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and close it out on my end. We're trying to make sure that we keep the video kind of smaller, so that way it's easier to pass along.
Yeah.
Because we're going to combine our streams together to make it into one compact video for you guys to be able to sit down and watch. So I'm gonna close it out on my end. Mr. J, did you have any closing thoughts?
No, again, thank you guys for coming along here. Hopefully we can do this again.
Oh no, it was great, man. Thanks for having me.
I think the next topic that we should cover is looking at decks that are currently topping and talk about what are things that we could do to try to, I guess, prepare for those types of decks. If you guys wanted to talk about that.
So like a meta analysis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like fun.
All right. Well, I'm going to close it out on my end. I hope you guys have a great evening, great afternoon, and great night. But this has been Zuki and One, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.